When we talk about street hawking, the street hawking is done by both boys and girls. And the negative effect of street hawking can be on the two gender. My opinion is that street hawking is not the only thing that will bring about immoral behavior or any form of negative behavior that is being experienced by the girl child. I have a very strong belief that it is our culture and tradition and the moral values that are deteriorating to a level whereby the parents don't really care about the moral values of their children or the moral behavior of their children. But time immemorial, street hawking has been there in northern Nigeria, and in fact, even up to the southern Nigeria. Street hawking is not new. I myself, I have sold items on the street, and I grew up as a disciplined child because my parents have given me the correct discipline or moral behavior. I have understood the danger of any form of harassment, of any form of gender-based violence before being on the street. And alhamdulillah, during our time, men are not like this. Talk less of boys. Men do not take advantage of little girls or adolescent girls that are hawking items on the street. It is the decadence of our morality that has brought all these issues of gender-based violence, and people tend to associate it greatly to street hawking. But without statistics, we cannot confirm this. I know of so many cases where the girl child or the little girl did not go for hawking. But in the end, she will be taken advantage, she will be exploited, she will be harassed, she will be abused. Even in school, teachers rape their students, teachers rape their pupils. In Islamia teachers rape their pupils. In churches, everywhere. It is the entire society that is becoming rotten. That is why the minds of those perpetrators is so rotten that they conduct these forms of behavior. Street hawking. Okay, street hawking too is one of the reasons or the ways that these girls get spoiled. You are talking of a motor park, markets and places like this, but street hawking is mainly conducted within the community. If it is food item, greater part of the food item that is being sold is within the community. If it is condiment or other non-food items, it's still sold within the community. But why is it that the members of the community are taking advantage of these girls? First of all, I will say the greater fault is the failure in our moral values. Before, if you see anything that is being done that is not correct or right, you have every authority and right to stop and say, hey, this man, stop behaving in this form with this girl. You will reprimand him. But what is it today? People within a community know that there is a house where a man is staying without a wife, and girls go into that house, nobody is pointing a finger or nobody is talking. Day in, day out, until something bad has happened. The ward heads are there. People don't even report to the ward heads. Even if it's reported to the ward heads, hardly that man is punished. Therefore, the problem is the entire society. The entire system has gotten bad to an extent where the girl child has no protection. Before, we are our brother's keepers. Whether she's your daughter or your relation or you don't even know her, if she's doing something bad, you can even cane her and go away free. But today, if you talk to a girl and she's able to report to her bad father, the father will come and meet you and say, why did you talk to my daughter? Or why did you beat my daughter? Is it your business? He will attack you. But in those days, we were our brother's keepers. And anything that is sin or anything that anybody, whether male or female, notice that it will lead to something bad, is being corrected. And apart from that, there are so many poor families, vulnerable, disadvantaged families that have no option whatsoever to have food on their table unless their daughters go out to sell certain items within the community. And in most cases, these families are desperate to have food on their table. Therefore, when the girl, whether she has the moral discipline or she has been reprimanded by her mother or the father has told her not to go close to anybody and so on, sometimes they go back home with the money that is more than what they have gone out to sell. And because the mother is so desperate, she's in such a bad economic situation, she will accept that money and keep quiet so that the next day they will have something better to eat. Most of the girls that you see on the street are children of vulnerable, poor families. And my advice is that let the parents understand that in the course of looking for sustenance to survive, do not sell your child. Do not allow your child to be abused. Do not let her understand that it is desperate for her to bring home something that will sustain the family. Let the child understand that you value her integrity, you value her self-respect. When going out, always tell your child, whether male or female, that do not allow a man to cross the boundaries of destruction. That is gender-based violence or rape. Because most of these cases that we see, they are voluntary until it goes bad. Maybe she gets pregnant. But before then, they might be doing it and she might be keeping it secret from her parents. But when she gets pregnant, she will say it's so person that raped her. So the case becomes complicated. So let people in the society understand that it is our collective responsibility to ensure that we observe, we shine our eyes on such immoral vices, whereby we take responsibility of ensuring that every girl child has a right over us for protection. And we also need to understand that if today's young girl or girl child is bad, tomorrow's mother will be bad. And we need to have mothers, good mothers for the future, because these young girls are future mothers. And once they grow up with this mentality that their daughter can go out, sell goods and sell herself, come back and generate income, we are in a big trouble, because the problem of the girl child with respect to gender-based violence is always increasing in one form or the other. So I call on the government to come out with a package that will alleviate the suffering of our teeming masses, more especially widows that have lost their husbands and are left with children to fend for. Sometimes you will see a woman with 9 children, no good shelter. Most of them are not in school, or all of them are not in school. She's not educated. She has no resources, no access to any loan facility. She cannot do anything. She becomes helpless. Therefore, what option does she have other than sending her girl child or the daughter to go out and hawk? It is our responsibility in the Ministry of Women Affairs to advise the government to come out with a policy where the widows will have a very good package to empower them and strengthen them, so that the children or the orphans will escape the dangerous trends that we are in now. Thank you very much.